Thank you, Vanessa. Now, I'd love your thoughts on this. Should Keir Starmer stick with his chancellor? Maybe he should drop Rachel Reeves. 020 7862 2222 is the number. Give us a call. Keir Starmer has insisted his relationship with Miss Reeves is stronger after he made a few changes to his cabinet. That's despite the cost of government borrowing reaching its highest level since 1998. So let us take a look at why she's got into this fix. I mean, it is a reminder, of how difficult politics is. Let me show you first a famous portrait of Pope Innocent X, 1650. This was painted by Velázquez, and it was then turned into a version that shows you what politics does to a person. That's the Screaming Pope. Based on that, that's Francis Bacon, the artist, in 1953. And if you look at those pictures, you know what? There's a bit of a tale of modern British politics, because when the election happened, there was the Chancellor in her finery, looking forward to doing what she hoped would be a brilliant job. And here she is now, the screaming Chancellor. In 1 year, that's happened. What has gone wrong? Let's look at the painful moments. Not necessarily mistakes, but maybe this was an error. Election promise, no tax rises, she said. We're going to pay for things like the NHS using growth. Well, fine, if you get growth, but they haven't. Then immediately settling the doctors' and the train drivers' pay claims, arguably an error because they then came back for more. The big one, of course, was this, cancelling the winter fuel allowance, which they had to reverse. You then had farmers furious about inheritance tax, employers' national insurance changes, and VAT on private school fees. So lots of constituents of people annoyed there, constituencies who are annoyed. She then got rattled and said, well, don't worry, we did all the painful things in our first budget. Well, now, apparently, the next budget is going to be even more painful. So that was wrong, a wrong move, a misstep as well. And the big one, which was Reeves plus other ministers saying we're going to have a big programme of welfare cuts, and they then had to reverse it and do a massive U-turn. So those are the painful moments, and this is what politics looks like when you're on top of the world as a politician. There they are, Starmer and Reeves, on top of the world. General election last year, July the 4th. And here we are. We're only just over a year on, and they're in this elevated position, but my goodness, how things have changed, because she is now hanging on by her fingernails. There she is, and he's got to decide. Starmer's got to decide, does he drop her? Does he drop the Chancellor? Because that would be curtains for her. And she's looking, you remember she's already been seen in tears in the House of Commons. There she is, begging him not to. But he's in a pickle here, Carole, isn't he?
Yes, he is. This is the most fiscally incontinent Chancellor we have ever had. He should have dumped her 6 months ago, probably more than that. But of course he won't, because he signed off on every one of her fiscal policies. This is a woman, who has totally lost control of public spending. She inherited, she says, a black hole of 20 billion. That's now gone to 50 billion. The government debt is approaching 100% of our GDP. The money that we're borrowing is not paying off the debt. It's servicing the interest. Inflation has gone up, growth has gone down, employment is down. 17,000 millionaires have left this country. 3,500 company directors.
I don't know. Those figures are always disputed, aren't they? 17,000.
You always dispute my figures, and then they get checked, and they're always right.
On the millionaires, yeah.
And they're always right. So the deficit is out of control. This woman has completely, I'm trying to think of a word that's not a swear word, has completely wrecked. She inherited the fastest growing economy. So you would drop her? If you were Starmer, you'd drop her? Well, he's got a problem, hasn't he? Because there's no one in his cabinet that has got the wit to be Chancellor, and that is his problem. He's now taken a whole load of financial advisors, which are her advisors. He's taken them. Sadly, those advisors are people who actually want to hit the middle classes with wealth taxes, and that's going to be a bigger problem than he has already. But he will have to, if he sacks her, he has to take responsibility for the decisions that she's made, because he signed off on every single one of them. It's something that people in this country might not know. He's hired a whole group of people, and they've been called by analysts tax fanatics, and they are going to fleece the middle classes of this country.
There was I'm just going to mention the poll that exposed the Chancellor's unpopularity with voters. Over half of people said Keir Starmer should sack her.
Of course.
So that's what we're talking about.
No one else, though.
Are they right?
Whose poll was that?
Oh, YouGov for the Times.
OK, so that's a YouGov poll done for the Times, and that's fair enough to say that she's an unpopular Chancellor. But there can be an effective, unpopular Chancellor, and there have been throughout history. It is extremely worrying to sack someone if Mr. Starmer is indeed looking to do so before the autumn statement.
He won't sack her. He'll sack her after.
We will have to wait and see what she proposes. But if your assessment is true,
so assessment is fact.
If your assessment is true, then it doesn't matter who the chancellor is, because all of these policies are being brought down from Mr. Starmer himself. No, I do not think it's the right time to sack her. I do not think that her policies have been ineffective. In the first quarter of 2025, we had the largest growth in the G7 nations. In the second quarter of 2025, we had modest growth of all the G7 nations. And let's be really clear, on the gilts and on the interest rates that are going up, Germany, France and the Dutch bonds have gone up as well. So it's becoming more expensive for Europe.
Gilt yields are higher now. Gilt yields are higher now than under trust. The OBR,
I'm going to take a call.
The OBR says Britain is unlikely to make 3%
Do you think that
hang on, guys, you can't just talk across each other.
Nelufar does it all the time.
Well, I know, just both of you wait for a second. Let's hear from Cheryl in Powys. Hi, Cheryl. Should he drop her?
I'm not in Cardiff, I'm in South Powys.
In Powys, yeah, I said that, yeah.
Good morning, girls, and good morning to my second favourite woman.
Who's that?
Think they should all go.
Wait a minute. Who's your favourite woman?
Who's your favourite? I want to know.
Well, they're on par with
Widdecombe.
Anne Widdecombe.
I was going to say.
Right.
I thought that's where we were going. Mike Parry, Anne Widdecombe.
And your lady in pink.
Well, you're very lovely, Cheryl. And
well done, Cheryl.
And I love your accent.
And out of interest, Cheryl, did you have anything to say about the item?
Yes, she had something to say about me.
I know she was praising you, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Yes, I
Cheryl?
do. I personally, well, not only me, from what I'm hearing, I think they should all go. They are third-rate politicians, and they are making Britain third-rate country. I'm sorry. They should definitely all go and never be heard of again. I don't think our Chancellor has passed her O-level arithmetic, obviously. But they are making this country into something we don't know. We don't understand it. We don't accept it, most of us.
OK, Cheryl, thank you very much. We do, when we get callers, we seek balance. And, you know, you can tell how unpopular this government is by the fact that some days we almost don't get it. John in West Yorkshire, do you think he should... I suppose if he drops Reeves, it's a bit like Liz Truss dropping Kwasi Kwarteng. It's you're sort of throwing someone overboard when you've told them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's my point, really. Starmer really isn't fit to appoint anybody. He's the leader, and he's made such a mess of what's going on. Whether he sacks Reeves or not, Reeves should never be anywhere near managing this country. And I believe, Carole, everything that you've said is absolutely correct. The first thing they did when they got in power was hit the people that needed the money most. And that unpopularity started from day one. So, Starmer, really, you should sack yourself, first of all, and Reeves, you should resign because you're not fit to run a car boot sale. Yeah,
but you say... Well, hang on a minute. You say... Well, since when were you in favour of spending money we don't have, by the way? Sorry? Well, since when were you in favour of spending... What it's got to do... They looked at the numbers. They thought, we're not getting the tax in to pay the winter fuel allowance, to do this and to do that.
What she said
So we're going to save some money.
Well, but they're not saving money. They had a chance to save money on the $5 billion benefits bill and the welfare bill, and they chose not to. So they're going to have to save £51 billion, and she's got no way of doing it.
Yeah,
and John,
the U-turns are ridiculous, aren't they, Nelufar?
No, they're not. They're just, I think, possibly the way that you framed it might feel that way. Look, people who don't like the Chancellor, don't like her for whatever reason.
We like her because she's useless. We don't like her because she's useless and she's wrecking the economy. She's taken us to the brink of a financial meltdown.
Well, if the IMF come in,
yes,
that would be... I mean, that was curtains for Labour in the 70s. Yeah. That would be curtains.
So the IMF have weighed in. I think it was at the end of 2024 when they said that Britain is in danger of losing her way, economically speaking. So all these kind of I find it really interesting that people hate her quite as much as they do.
Because she's taking their money. That's why they hate them. The worst thing she ever did was, well, the first thing she ever did as well, was she cut the winter fuel allowance. A socialist chancellor took the winter fuel allowance away from pensioners.
It's a benefit.
It doesn't matter. Pensioners
you want
have to be...
cuts.
We have to afford... If we can afford to pay for people's mental anxieties, we can afford to keep pensioners warm and alive in the winter. And they've paid their into the society. They deserve
Nelufar, just finish the sentence.
Thanks. No, I find it...
please, don't you talk about me
Carole,
not letting you finish a sentence. You haven't let me finish one in the show. Fine, go.
Just hang on there.
Yeah. I do think...
Keep momentum, Nelufar, or you're going to lose the baton.
Momentum, being sandblasted here. I do...
Sandblasted.
Good words. I do think that she really needs to be worried and concerned about these numbers. The YouGov poll for the Times is worrying if it's over half of the population of the people who voted.
We know she's going to get fired because he's taken all of her stuff.
Nothing she does is ever going to be popular, OK? No one wants money taken from one place and put into another. However, getting this right is going to be so much more than what the numbers suggest. The optics here are what is destroying Rachel Reeves.
No, it's not the optics, it's the facts that are destroying Rachel Reeves.
Do you think she'll be gone after the budget?
Yes, completely she's going to be gone. He's already... The shafting has begun already.
Who does he put in, Darren Jones or...?
Oh, yes, we're going to put Darren Jones in.
Well, I don't know, who does he put in?
Who's got a problem with his sight, thinks everybody coming into this country on a boat is women and children.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a problem seeing. He's an idiot. But, you know, they're now employing proper financial people to draft this budget.
Darren Jones is one of them.
No, I'm talking about the Baroness...
Baroness, what's it?
Well, yeah. She sadly is going to hit the middle classes. She was in favour of taking the triple lock away. She's in favour of hitting the middle classes.
But I still don't... I mean, I hear what you say, but you want all this money to be spent by the government, which is money they don't have, and you're upset about the debt.
I want them to cut...
I don't get it.
No, I'm sorry. I want them to cut money. I want them
but
to
not
cut
from
money.
pensioners.
I wanted to cut it from the welfare bill, the $5 billion welfare bill.
Well, that's the pensioners.
I want them to stop paying for the public sector in the way they do. They said they were going to slash the public sector. 7,000 people more now work for the public sector than when Labour came into power.
That's clear.
So they're not cutting. They need to cut.
Thank you. There we are. We think Rachel Reeves' job may be on the line here. Later, it's the papers and everything else.